Biggest NHL bust, the 1995 NHL Draft. The 1995 NHL Draft was headlined by defensemen Brian Berard and Wade Redden, along with Hall of Famer Jarome Iginla. There were several solid players drafted in the first round of the 1995 draft, such as Shane Doan, J.S. Giguere, and Peter Sikora. Despite having some respectable names to come out of the 95 draft, there are also a fair share of busts from this draft as well. In this episode, I will be talking about the most notable busts in the 1995 NHL draft. The 1995 NHL draft kicked off with the Ottawa Senators drafting Brian Berard with the first overall pick. Berard was widely considered the best prospect in the draft. The New York Islanders then selected Wade Redden with the second overall pick. Brian Berard would end up getting traded to the New York Islanders along with Martin Straka and Don Beaupre for Wade Redden and Damian Rhodes. The LA Kings selected Aki Berg with the third overall selection, but he was a big disappointment for being the third overall pick. Todd Kilger was selected with the next pick by the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and while he did go on to find some success in the league, it would not be with Anaheim. The fifth overall pick went to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they used the selection on Damian Langkow. Although he went on to have a great NHL career, Tampa ultimately traded him for Chris Gratton and Mike Sillinger. Steve Kelly was the sixth overall pick in the draft by the Edmonton Oilers. This was the first big bust in the draft, as he only played in 149 NHL games. Shane Doan was the seventh overall pick by the Winnipeg Jets, who would relocate to Phoenix, and Doan would play his entire career there. Shane Doan represented the Phoenix Coyote with class, scoring 402 goals and 972 points in 1,540 games. Terry Ryan was the 8th overall selection by the Montreal Canadiens. He is the biggest bust of this draft class, as he never scored a single point in the NHL and only appeared in 8 games. The Boston Bruins selected Kyle McLaren with the 9th overall pick. He had a solid career, split between Boston and San Jose. The Florida Panthers selected Radek Dvorak with the 10th overall pick. He had a productive NHL career with over 1,000 games played. Jarome Iginla is the best player by a mile from this draft class. He was selected 11th overall by the Dallas Stars and was traded to Calgary for Joe Nieuwendyk. Jarome Iginla played the majority of his career with the Calgary Flames and finished his career having scored 625 goals and 1,300 points in 1,554 games. Timo Riihijarvi was the 12th overall pick in the 95 draft by the San Jose Sharks. He never appeared in an NHL game, making him the biggest bust in this draft class. J.S. Giguere was the first goalie taken in the 95 draft, 13th overall by the Hartford Whalers. He is best known for his time with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, where he led them to the Stanley Cup Finals. Other notable first-round selections were Jay McKee, 14th overall by Buffalo, Martin Biron, 16th overall by Buffalo, and Peter Sikora, 18th overall by New Jersey. The biggest busts in the rest of the first round were Jeff Ware, 15th overall by Toronto, and Brad Church, 17th overall by Washington. After the first round, only a handful of players stand out: Mika Kiprasov, Mark Savard, Sami Kapanen, Jochen Hecht, Stefan Robida, and Philip Kuba. There were some players such as Brad Isbister, Alan McCauley, Michael Handzus, Don Hardina, Brent Sopel, and PJ Axelson, who had a couple good seasons but were not able to sustain their excellence. The 1995 draft was front-heavy. There were some high-end talent found in the first 4 rounds, but after the 5th round, the success of draft picks dropped off drastically. The 95 draft never fully lived up to his potential because the first overall pick, Brian Berard, sustained an eye injury that derailed his all-star trajectory. If Berard never gets injured, there is a chance that we are looking at this draft class a lot more differently because he could have been an all-timer. The 1995 draft has an asterisk next to it because of unfulfilled potential and draft loss, which makes it an underwhelming draft class overall.